Michigan, welcome inside the State Champs studios as we bring you another episode of State Champs Michigan's high school sports show. Some of the non-contact sports are underway and we've got highlights. I'm Lauren Plant.
And I'm Jenna Rose. This program is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where they want you to recruit yourself to any of the more than 24 NAIA varsity sports offered at Lawrence Tech. It's easy to do. Just go to LTUathletics.com. State Champs Michigan is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, the Michigan Army National Guard, the incredible sports medicine and physical therapy team with the Detroit Medical Center. This week's Game Changers segment focuses on feet strengthening and the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan Male and Female Athlete of the Year Awards. The deadline to apply has been extended to February 15th. Get all the information and the application at dacathleteoftheyear.com.
And of course, Hungry Howie's. Michigan's two biggest high school football awards have been handed out. I'm talking the Amble Award and Mr. Football. You will meet both of those outstanding gentlemen on this very program. It's all very exciting.
And if you missed our football edition of State Champs at the state finals, you can watch it now on the State Champs app or at statechampsnetwork.com or on the State Champs socials. We got a little silly, but we had a lot of fun. Boys swimming, bowling got going this weekend, and of course we have highlights, so let's get to it.
Better late than never, the Holly Broncos hosting the Trojans of Owasso to open up the boys' swimming season. I'm Greg Moulson, and let's get started with the 200-yard medley relay. Brandon Stricker with the final leg for the Broncos, giving them the win with a time of 2:02.17. In the first individual event of the night, it's another win for Holly, with Colin Wilczak winning the 200-yard freestyle in 2:24.92. Drew Hignite follows with another first-place finish for the Broncos, taking the 200 IM in 2:38.89. That was the first of two wins for Hignite, who also took first in the 100 breaststroke. Alex Binger gets the first win for the Trojans, showing off his speed, winning the 50 free in 25.97. The Owasso sophomore also picked up another first in the 100 free. Holly didn't have any divers, so Owasso sweeps that event, led by Charles DeWeese taking first. Zachary Rockefeller picks up the first of his two wins in the 100 butterfly. He also won the 100 backstroke. That was the start of the longest race of the night, the 500 free. Just over 6.5 minutes later, it's Holly's Brandon Stricker coming in well ahead of the pack, 55 seconds in front of Owasso's Tyler Sheldon. To go along with his two individual wins, Alex Binger gets another first-place finish, swimming the final leg of the 200 freestyle relay for Owasso. And in the final event of the night, Holly comes from well behind in the 400 free relay. That's Shane Valerio taking over the lead in the third position. Drew Hignite would finish it off in the final leg, giving Holly its 8th win in 12 events. But thanks to its overall depth, Owasso wins the meet 100-81. The Trojans just happy to be back in the pool competing.
It's really nice to actually have a season this year and be able to get out there and compete and actually start racing again.
You know, the kids got in the water not quite 2 weeks ago. Saturday the 16th, we got in the water. And, you know, I didn't have to push them at all. I think there's a lot of pent-up energy and they're ready to get out and compete. And it's just nice to be able to see the kids out doing something finally, you know, and get them out exercising and burning off some stress and burning off all that pent-up energy they've had this winter. So it's a good thing to get them in the water.
I'm Ryan Slocum. Let's head to the west side of the state for an OK Red Conference bowling matchup with Rockford taking on Grandville. We'll begin on the boys' side with the Baker games. Rockford's Tyler Backheim with the strike for the Rams. Then it's the lefty doing the same. Tony DeLucia knocks them all down. Rockford had all 10 points after the Bakers. The Bulldogs making some noise in game one. Connor Vandersloot, 2 hands. He hooks it right into the pocket. He led Granville with a 225 in game one. Logan Straub had himself a day, rolling a 201 and a 205. But his Dogs couldn't keep up with the Rams. Sam Colby had a match-high 245 in game one, along with a 196, while DeLucia added a 244 and 193. Rockford cruises in games 1 and 2 as well by a total of 1986 to 1812. As for the ladies, this was a close one. Beginning with the Bakers, Granville's Savannah Schmidt with the strike. The Bulldogs took the first Baker, 179-176. Rockford would take the second Baker. Then in the regular games, Emily Brown rolls a turkey in the 10th frame to end game one with a 4-bagger. She had a 188 and a match-high 224 in game two. This one came right down to it. Carly Chapman with a ram strike here. She followed a 117 with a 189. Emma Corhorn had it going all day. She rolls a turkey in the 10th to end game one on a 4-bagger as well. Emma rolled a 192 and 187. Emma Colby also had it going on. She tallied a 184 and a team-high 211 in Game 2 as Rockford gets the sweep over Granville, with the girls winning as well, 1943 to 1896.
Celebrating 25 years of excellence, the greatest honor a Michigan high school student-athlete can earn, the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's High School Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male and 6 female nominees earn $1,000 of scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at an amazing red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted. You cannot be nominated if you don't apply. Download the application today at dacathleteoftheyear.com. That's dacathleteoftheyear.com.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we go to more boys swimming. Oakland Activities Association matchup as Birmingham Seaholm was at home to take on the Falcons from Farmington. And we begin with the 200 IM. This would be the junior Cammie Wilson from Seaholm that would dominate in this race as he goes in for the win by 6 seconds. Farmington had a solid season in 2020, one time ranked number 1 in Division II. In the exciting 50 free, it would be a battle between teammates, Jared Visser and Andrew Pan, but it would be the senior Visser that would edge it out for the victory. Moving ahead to the 100-yard butterfly, and it would be Wilson once again for the Maples with another big win, taking it by 3 seconds. Next to the 100-yard freestyle, it would be a good finish between Tom Girdler of Seaholm and Visser of Farmington. Middle of your screen, it would be Girdler winning it by 0.11 of a second. More from the Maples here in the 500 free, as the sophomore Scott Hassett would take the race with a time just over 4 minutes and 58 seconds, winning by 6 seconds. Farmington trying to stay in it, and they would take the 200-yard free relay, and then here in the 100 breaststroke, the senior Trevor Jones would win this race by 3 seconds. But it would be too much Seaholm on this night. The senior Jake Busey would beat out his teammate by nearly a second as Seaholm goes on to take the meet.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramos with DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine, and today on Game Changers, we're going to be talking about how to get fast by training your feet. So to become a faster athlete, train your feet. You're already training your legs and your core muscles. It only makes sense to train your feet because that's what's on the ground when you're running and jumping. We wear shoes all day, and that makes our feet weak and unbalanced. So doing these 4 exercises can help strengthen your feet and make you faster. Now, to begin with, these will be frustrating and difficult to do if you haven't done it before, but stick with it and do them every day. Start out by trying to lift your large toe or your big toe up, keeping your other 4 toes down. Do this exercise for a minute. Then try to keep your big toe down and lift up your other 4 toes all together. Do that for a minute. Next, try to spread your toes as wide as you can make them and then bring them all the way back together. And do that for 1 to 2 minutes. Do these exercises every day and you will become a faster athlete.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Before you understand what the Anvil Award represents, you need to know what an anvil is. It's a metalworking tool, a large block of metal forged in fire or steel, used as a forging tool of which another object is formed. It's the foundation for creation. 3 years ago, in partnership with Hungry Howie's, we came to the realization that the men who make their living in the trenches, the ones who hit on every play, the movers and the shakers, the unsung gladiators that are the backbone of every team, needed to be celebrated just as Mr. Football is. To the best of our knowledge, this honor does not exist anywhere in America. The 2020 version of the State Champs Anvil Race could be argued had the largest collection of talent to date, some of the most sought-after college prospects in the entire nation on both sides of the line. Throughout the season, Michigan Hall of Fame coach Tim Beckler sung the praises of these freakishly good athletes. Paring it down to our Final Four was a spirited debate. All of our finalists, two-way players, rarely watching from the sidelines. So to choose just one is not a diminishing of the accomplishments of any of our candidates. Hundreds of athletes to choose from, you are in rare company and we celebrate your accomplishments. It is tradition to try and surprise those who will host the Michigan Anvil, a shroud of mystery surrounding the week following the state finals until we get to the moment of truth. Hey, what's up everybody? It is Anvil time. We are in close quarters here. We are actually on a particular moving vehicle, a bus, no less, and we are about to surprise this year's winner of the 2020 Anvil Award. I just figured maybe you need something for your dorm room, my friend. Rocco Spindler, I want to award you the 2020 State Champs Anvil Award.
Let's go! Let's go! Yeah! Let's go, man. Yeah! Oh man, this is a blessing.
My heart it was just unbelievable. The emotions, that hard work, dedication, everything you work for, the blood, sweat, and tears, and every inch, every weight you put up, that's what I had in my head all the time. And now to fully, achieve my goal is, heartwarming. And now to, cap off, right before I go to Notre Dame.
When you're the son of a former professional athlete, one who was the 1986 High School Defensive Player of the Year, then a collegiate star, and one who played 9 years in the NFL, it could be a blessing or a curse. But Dad never had a doubt because of who Rocco Spindler has become as a person.
What makes Rocco special is what he does outside of football, his character, his class, and most importantly, his humility. And that's something that, we're really, fortunate and excited, whatever word you want to use as parents. I mean, to be able to look and understand that, Rocco is no doubt a great football player, but he's even a better person. And anyone that has a chance to be around him gets an opportunity to realize how contagious his personality is and how special of a person he is.
My dad's one of my best friends. He's one of my great, mentors, things like that. But he's somebody I can look up to. What I learned most from him was just to be a better man. And, that's the greatest things I got out of him. Yeah, I might have all the accolades, but to be a man like him, it's heartwarming because, he's taught me everything from the ground up. And, I'm great to have a father like him. But, he's great, but my mom, on the other hand, I couldn't have done it without her. My mom is my #1 supporter. I love her to death. I'd do anything for her. and I know she'd do the same for me. And this award is, she helped me get this award, and I owe it to her and the rest of my career for her.
The first 2 years saw back-to-back linebackers taking home this honor. Spindler's the first true lineman to win the award. Michigan high school football fans know the OAA Red is consistently, top to bottom, one of the toughest divisions in the state. And over the past 10 years, the Wolves have 3 state championships. Head coach Kurt Richardson says Rocco Spindler is the best football player he's coached in 45 years. A 4-year starter, Rocco played both ways for the Wolves in every game of his 45-game career. A 2-time finalist for the Anvil, a 2-time People's Champ is the winner of the online voting for the award. The Clarkston community took to StateChampsNetwork.com at a fever pitch. And although the vote accounts for just 20% of the overall formula, in this year's case it was the difference. 32,360 votes in 9 weeks, almost 20,000 greater than second place.
First off, I got to thank all the voters, from the Clarkston community to my family, to the Monty family, Patton family, from all the way up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Those people really, took the time and effort to really, take their vote. Countless of hours, voting for me and to win this special award and to be the first offensive lineman to win it. And I'm just very humbled to be in that position. And it took a while. I wanted to win it my sophomore year and then my junior year, but I capped it off my senior year, man, and that's the goal I came and set out with, and got the job done. And the season, that ended, not how I expected it, but I was blessed to play my senior year, with the Clarkston Wolves.
In Clarkston's 8 games this season, the 6'4", 295-pound Spindler accounted defensively for 53 tackles, 25 assists, 2 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 1 block punt, 2 passes batted down, 1 interception, and 25 quarterback hurries. On the offensive side, 85 pancakes or knockdowns, didn't allow a sack his entire 4-year career.
When I look at it unbiasedly and I try to evaluate the film, it really came back to, I thought that Rocco, both from the defensive side, the offensive side of the ball, really was a special football player. But understanding that, other players and some of the criteria were going to have the opportunity to go on, I understand that was going to be weighted as well. And how well they played in the playoffs would probably be determined, who would end up being the Anvil Award winner. But when it was all said and done, and thankfully I had the opportunity to really watch all the playoffs, and really they were spectacular. Kudos to all the teams that won across the state championships. Really, there was some magnificent football. But when it was all said and done, the smoke cleared, put the bias aside and really just try and evaluate what I saw, I really thought the clear-cut winner was going to be, Rocco Seth Kodiak Spindler.
After helping the Wolves to the Division I title as a freshman and runner-up finish as a sophomore, Spindler was a Max Preps All-American in 2018 and an Under Armour All-American in 2020. He's earned All-American status from recruiting guru Tom Lemming and was invited to play in the 2021 Under Armour All-American game before it was canceled. He's a 3-time All-Stater in Michigan, on the Detroit Free Press Dream Team twice, the Detroit News Dream Team 3 times. A 4-star athlete by 24/7 Sports and Rivals. He was ranked the 3rd best player on the list for Michigan's 2021 class and 3rd or 4th best in the national class of 2021 offensive guards. 18 college offers from the likes of Alabama, LSU, the majority of the Big Ten, just to name a few. Rocco fulfilled a wish he promised his late grandfather.
I promised him when I was a very young boy, not thinking I was actually going to go there, and when the time came and he got real sick, and I made him that promise, and everything fell in play, and I'm glad I'm going to University of Notre Dame.
Mom, Dad, and their close circle of friends celebrating this great day by purchasing a bountiful feast of Hungry Howie's goodness. This award wouldn't be possible if not for the Michigan-born pizza company stepping up year after year to support Michigan high school football's highest honors. And when football almost didn't happen in the fall, Rocco almost went to Florida to finish his high school career. He waited, and then he stayed.
He decided to come back for his community. He decided to come back for his team. He decided to come back for his head coach to win another state championship. But he really came back, in one of the biggest pieces of hardware that he wanted was the Anvil Award. And to be able to end his career knowing that he had all that hardware and understanding that he set a goal out some time ago to win the Anvil Award, and to be able to do that, it'll be something that we will look back and we'll be appreciative, we'll be humble towards, and I look forward to having that Anvil Award sitting right there on top of my safe with all other great trophies that we have earned in this family, and every time I look at it, it'll bring a smile to my face.
Last thing I ever expected. It was just crazy, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad you guys, thought so highly of me, and I can't thank you and state champs enough.
Clarkston's Rocco Spindler, 2020's state champs anthem. If you're a high school athlete with the dream of playing college sports, Lawrence Technological University wants you to recruit yourself. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports, including its newest additions, competitive cheer and dance, esports, women's hockey, and men's and women's track and field. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Now that our fall sports have all been completed, let's give an update on the rapid testing program that allowed fall sports to finish. According to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, nearly 5,400 people participated in the pilot program. That's all student athletes in football, volleyball, and girls swimming and diving, as well as coaches, team personnel, and some football cheerleaders. Of those nearly 5,400 participants, 57 individuals tested positive. That's 1%. Since participants were taking 3 tests a week for as long as their team or individual was still active in the tournament, there were a total of just under 30,000 tests completed. Of those positive tests, out of nearly 30,000 rapid tests, that gave us a negativity rate of 99.8%. This data shows that not only were we able to play, but we were able to play safely. It shows that coaches and student athletes were willing to do whatever it took to be able to play during these unique and strange times. To stay up to date on everything MHSAA, go to our website. That's MHSAA.com.
The 2020 football season, which bled into 2021, will always be remembered as the most chaotic, frustrating, bewildering, and just weirdest one we've ever seen in the history of Michigan high school football. But time may also reveal it as the one where the state champs Mr. Football race became more relevant, interesting, talked about, debated, and flat out entertaining in the 13-year history of the award. Back in mid-November, following the third week of the playoffs, which determined district champions across the state, the season was shut down to the never-ending COVID-19 pandemic. A month passed, and with seemingly no hope to see the season to its conclusion, the majority of all the major awards were handed out across the state. We held out as long as we could, but when it seemed all hope was lost, we chose to announce the Mr. Football Final Four the week of Christmas. And as we rang in the new year, so too would we have named the 2020 Mr. Football. But as fate would have it, on the day our Final Four was to be announced, we got a statement from the MHSAA the season would see its finality with the final 3 rounds of the playoffs taking place in January. That changed everything. The race was back on. 8 of our final top 10 candidates would have a chance to play their way into the Final Four. Following the state semifinals, the new Final Four would emerge. 3 of the 4 advancing to the state championship game. And even Christian Reed and his Tigers were a hair's breadth of getting to the finals and sending Donovan Edwards and his West Bloomfield Lakers packing. At the state finals, there was more chatter about Mr. Football than ever before. We had conversations with many, including the players involved, on who should be the 2020 version of Mr. Football. It must be said, the 2020 Mr. Football race was the most competitive to date. All 4 finalists, even some of our non-finalists, had incredible seasons, each one deserving of the crown, but there can only be one. And as the week following the finals had many waiting with breathless anticipation, as we do here at State Champs, we kept it a closely guarded secret. What seemed like a routine end-of-season get-together turned out to be the big reveal. We are at an undisclosed location, something you will find out very shortly. And this has been a long time coming. So let's find out who is this year's 2020 Mr. Football. Oh, excuse me, am I interrupting? I'm very sorry. Would Mr. Donovan Edwards please stand up? You have been asking and you have been asking. Well, my friends, sometimes be careful what you wish for. But in this case, you earned it. Donovan Edwards, you are the 2020 state champs, Mr. Football.
Yes! It means a lot. It means like I'm going down as one of the top players that came out of Michigan. This award means a lot to a lot of people, but I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful that God put me in this position.
When his senior football season was halted in mid-November, Donovan Edwards had not yet announced his choice for his college destination. Edwards desperately wanted the opportunity to win a state title for West Bloomfield before his high school career was over. When many of the statewide awards, including the various Players of the Year, came out in late December, his name was absent from many. By signing and enrolling early with the University of Michigan, he might have put himself at a loss to change any of that, but the running back was motivated to at least try, getting himself a waiver from the NCAA to allow him to finish out his senior season, even if it extended past the start of classes at U of M, gave Edwards a chance to finish on his terms. And by his performance in the process of helping lead West Bloomfield to its first football championship, a 41-0 defeat of Davison, Edwards is just the second running back to claim Mr. Football since Oxford's Prescott Line did it nearly a decade ago. After head coach Ron Bellamy limited his workload for the early portion of the season, Donovan finished his senior campaign with nearly 1,700 rushing yards and 27 touchdowns, with a large portion of that coming since the resumption of the postseason in January, the biggest games of the year, win or go home. In the district finals versus MAC Red co-champion Sterling Heights Stevenson, Edwards rushed for 146 yards and 5 touchdowns, adding a receiving TD in the first half alone. When play resumed with regionals, he ripped off 245 yards on 19 carries, scoring 4 times in a win over Romeo. Against KLAA champion Belleville, the Lakers' postseason roadblocked each of the previous 2 years, and a team that allowed more than 2 scores in only 3 of its first 10 games, Donovan ran for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. And against a defending D1 champion Davison team that through regional finals had allowed just 5 rushing touchdowns and 725 rushing yards all season long, a new term was created: Domination. 14 carries, 257 yards rushing with 3 scores in just 3 quarters of work. Edwards set a new finals MHSAA Division I record in the process, 50 shy of the All Divisions MHSAA Finals record. His final 4 games of high school produced 798 yards and 15 touchdowns rushing, 1 receiving, against a slate of opponents that had come into their games versus the Lakers a combined 33-5. After the state finals, Ron Bellamy laid out his Mr. Football case for Donovan Edwards.
He's the most dominant offensive player that I've seen in the state in a very long time. Game plans are created to stop him, and for him to have the performances like he's had, and I think the state of Michigan is finally getting a chance to see Donovan Edwards. Not everyone's playing. So everyone's seeing this and they're saying, whoa, where's this been? Well, we just choose not to run him into the ground during the season. However, he's still productive. And I would say this, and yes, is this my way of trying to endorse my player? Absolutely. But there's no hiding the fact why West Bloomfield gets kids recruited into college every year. We don't use one player to do everything. We use multiple players. That's why we send 10+ players getting college scholarships every year. I'm not knocking nobody. I'm just stating facts. Donovan could play whatever you want to play on defense. When you're a 5-star, you could play any position. But that takes away from your Dylan Tatums, your Gavin Hardemans. So for us, we try to make sure that, we give everyone the opportunity to play, to be productive, be developed, and get a chance to play college football.
He knew what I could become. he knew like I had some challenges growing up. So, you know, like he always looked out for me, always guided me to, you know, who I am. And like he like starting the recruitment process too. Like Coach Bell started it for me. I remember the time he asked me, he said, Donovan, what schools are you very interested in? I said, but Coach, like, if I went to school like Eastern, you know, West, I don't mean like, you know, downplay any schools, but like that was my mindset at the time. But like, you know, like anywhere could get me where I want to be. And he was like, you got to think bigger than that. You got to think bigger. And then, you know, he was like, you're gonna be one of the highest recruits ever, like ever. Like one of the best to come out of Michigan, one of the best to come out of West Bloomfield. You know, he gave me the confidence for that. Hearing that from the head coach, who had like a lot of amazing talent already. You know, like Taj Mustafa, Colin Hurd, Bryce Beasley, Dwayne Thompson. Like those were great players he had coached. You know, just to hear like you're going to be a great player, that meant a lot to me, and that boosted my confidence.
Hours after the state finals, Ron Bellamy joined Donovan at Michigan as the newly named wide receivers coach. The dead period prevented Coach Bellamy from attending the presentation. But as it relates to college, in the recruiting world, Edwards recently received his 5th star from 24/7 Sports, which has him ranked as the #1 player in Michigan and number 32 in the nation, as well as the USA's 2nd best running back in the 2021 class. 44 offers from the most prestigious programs in the country. Donovan's father tried to help navigate those waters. In the end, it was always Michigan.
He had his mindset set. He liked going to the universities. There were some universities that he was like tittering and tossing with, but he had his mindset on Michigan all the time. He had his mindset on Michigan. I mean, it was some other schools he really liked. Don't get me wrong, but he wanted to be a Michigan.
Oh man, I'm excited. We're gonna change everything. We're gonna change it. Like you gotta, as you said, like you gotta speak into it what it is, and like it's the mindset. I feel as though, man, we gonna change the world.
This award wouldn't be possible without the support of the pizza famous for flavor, Hungry Howie's. The best pizza in the state, honoring the best player in the state. Confidence can be sometimes confused with arrogance. If you want to be the best, challenge the rest.
I love my history about football, and you know, like I watched like Chad Ochocinco, like he was a great player. Like don't nobody know how he is as a person. Like the way he entertained the game of football was different, and like you know what I'm saying. Like it's not about like I'm being cocky about it. It's just like can't nobody guard me. Like his favorite line, like can't nobody guard 85. Like can't nobody stop number 6. That's how I feel. Like I know that's how like many great players feel. Like it's a confidence thing. Like I just worked very hard after my sophomore season. Really, after I broke my ankle, like that's like how like is this really like it in my opinion, in my mind, it was going to define me. Like are you going to like shine how you just did? Like you know what I'm saying? Like you had an okay sophomore season. And then like it's like how are you gonna bounce back from that? And I just feel like I just had to keep working over the summer, over the spring to be where I was my junior year. After my junior year, I had to find more motivation in me to find, you know, to get a state championship, to be the best football player I could be. I'm just driven by anything. Like I don't want to let people down. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people ride on me, a lot of people think of me highly. I think of myself highly, you know what I'm saying? I just drive myself, to be honest, and I do it like I also like in my mindset. Like, I just drive for like you know like my brother, you know like my mother, my father, like my family, everybody. Like I want to just be successful for them, you know, just be a positive role model for them.
West Bloomfield's Donovan Edwards, state champs 2020, Mr. Football.
Here's to hoping we get the rest of the winter sports going as soon as possible. There's an incredible movement out there. State Champs supports you.
Congratulations to Donovan Edwards and Rocco Spindler. Well-deserved, and the best of luck to both of you at the next level.
We'll see you next week, Michigan.
State Champs Michigan's High School Sports Show is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. The Detroit Athletic Club Foundation, applications being accepted for male and female high school athlete of the year at dacathleteoftheyear.com. And Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.